If you struggle with body fat, discipline, or posture, you're stuck in a negative feedback loop. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what that loop is and how to fix it. I'm Jack Henry. I help some of my friends achieve dating abundance, and now I coach guys one-on-one and make videos like these. If you see any part of yourself in the guy that I'm breaking down today, the systems and tasks can be directly applicable to your own life. First, I'm going to explain who Max is and what his struggles are. Then I'm going to diagnose his 3 biggest bottlenecks and give him a task to fix each of them. So Max is a pretty regular dude, but he doesn't have the confidence to get women. He has higher body fat than is ideal, and he's well aware of this. He knows that building muscle helps with weight loss, but he's struggling to go to the gym. He kept putting an effort there, but his body fat just kept concealing any muscle gains that he was making. Unable to see the gains, his brain doesn't give him the reward pathways that he otherwise would. And this leads to decreased motivation in his ability to work out. And since he's not working out, his hormones like testosterone are suffering. And with less testosterone expression, he has less drive to do things in general. This just reinforces his lack of drive to go to the gym. And obviously, since he's missing the gym, he's not gaining much muscle. His lack of muscle and his high body fat both lead him to have body dysmorphia. And another downside of him not working out is that he's developed postural problems like anterior pelvic tilt. That's where you develop an arch in your back where you look more feminine and end up being shorter. And he hates how this makes him look in the mirror, which only adds to his body dysmorphia. And all of this just gives him so much stress, and it becomes more and more of what he thinks about in his free time. He feels like women won't want him unless he fixes how he looks. And since he's stuck in this loop, he copes with his stress by binge eating. And his binge eating causes him to gain weight, or at least keeps him from losing any, and that just reinforces the entire loop. So now that you understand his whole negative reinforcement loop, let's figure out the 3 bottlenecks that are affecting him most. Out of the 30 bottlenecks that I work through with my clients, the 3 that are affecting him most are body fat, muscle, and posture. You could definitely argue that stress management belongs in there, but I think that we're going to deal with the stress through the tasks I'm going to give him dealing with these. So now I'm going to create some tasks for him to figure these out. So our goal with helping him with his body fat is obviously just to lower his body fat percentage. And doing this is as simple as just lowering the calories that he eats each day. And the biggest lever we could use to help him stop eating so many calories is to reduce his binge eating. The task that I'm going to give him to help him with this is that he's not allowed to have snacks anymore. If he's hungry, if he wants to eat, he has to eat a meal. It can be a big meal, it can be a small meal, but it has to be a meal. This may seem counterintuitive because meals are bigger than snacks. So doesn't this mean he's just going to eat more? Well, the reason I'm giving him this is because meals contain more protein and fiber, things like that are going to be way more filling. And this is going to cause an increase in fullness, which is going to tell him to stop eating sooner than if he was eating stuff that just had no protein or fiber. But even then, sometimes when you get full, you still keep eating because the snack just tastes so good. And another reason that meals are better than snacks is that snacks are typically super crunchy, super flavorful with all the right combinations of all the flavors. And meals, while you can make them taste good, they're just not as good as snacks. And you're gonna get less dopamine from this. The reason why people overeat even when they have a stomach ache is because the dopamine they're getting from the food overrides the amount of dopamine they're losing from having a stomach ache. But if you're getting less dopamine from the food, you're more likely to stop eating earlier. And while at first it might be a little bit difficult for him to always make sure he's not snacking, once he starts noticing that he is losing weight, he's gonna get increased motivation, which he's gonna be able to channel into him not eating snacks, which is then gonna help him lose more weight, which is gonna give him even more motivation. Now, for his second task, our goal is to help him gain muscle. And muscle is built through consistent workouts. And like doing anything that you have to do when it's not fun, it takes self-control. So we need to increase his self-control so we can actually do the workouts. And self-control is controlled by your prefrontal cortex. The more active your prefrontal cortex is, the more awake it is, the easier it is to exhibit self-control. And the activity level of your prefrontal cortex is determined by the amount of catecholamines you have. Catecholamines are things like adrenaline and dopamine, and it's basically the amount of battery your brain has. And you have the highest amount of energy in the morning. So my task that I'm going to give him is that 3 times a week, I want him to work out within the first 2 hours of waking up. Because in the morning, he's going to have more catecholamines, which means he has a more active prefrontal cortex, which means he can exhibit more self-control, which means he can actually get himself to the gym, which means he gets consistent workouts, which means that he builds the muscle. Now, I kind of do my own version of this, where every day once I get out of bed, I spend 15 minutes just doing a quick workout in my room. Now, I try to get to the gym for a real workout later in the day, but just in case I can't make it, it means that every single day I'm working out, and consistency is what matters most. And another benefit of this is his consistent workouts means he's going to have an increase in testosterone. Now, I'm not going to get into the scientific systems of this, but more testosterone means he has more self-control. and that's just gonna reinforce the loop. I'd advise you in general to do the hardest things in the morning, and then over the course of the day, do easier and easier activities. Although you should take a break in the afternoon when you're just gonna have that cognitive dip anyway. Okay, now to help him with his posture, I'm gonna skip the whole systems graph because I'm just gonna give him a protocol of how to fix his anterior pelvic tilt. That's the back arch thing. This is something I used to deal with because I was a pretty inactive kid. I just kind of sit inside, watch YouTube, play video games, and it caused me to have weak muscles, which then I developed this problem. So the first thing he's gonna have to do, which I believe is the most important, is that for every 30 minutes that he sits, I want him to take a 1 to 2 minute standing break. This just stops some of those muscles from completely going unused for most of the day at a time. And then the second thing he's gonna wanna do is 2 minutes a day, once for each leg, to do a couch stretch. Look up a video of this. It's basically just like you're putting your foot on the couch, and yeah, look up a video. And the third thing I want him to do is make sure that he has some specific muscle groups in his workout routine that he's already gonna be doing. So these are your glutes, your hamstrings, and your deep core. Just find any workouts that target those zones and it will have you covered. So if Max does these tasks, he'll bring his negative feedback loop into a positive feedback loop. So his first task, to only eat meals, is gonna reduce his binge eating. This is gonna lead him to a lower body fat percentage. Losing this weight will help him reveal his muscles. This is gonna give him a positive feedback loop, which is gonna lead him to have motivation to work out. On top of this, he's gonna work out in the mornings, which is gonna make it inevitable that he's gonna work out. And his workouts are gonna cause him to gain muscle. And it's also gonna raise his testosterone, which will increase his overall drive, which is gonna increase his drive to work out. And his good posture, plus his muscle mass, plus his body fat percentage being lower, is all gonna contribute to him having good looks. Finally feeling happy with his image, his stress is gonna be replaced by good emotions. And him not having that stress is gonna be another reason why he's not gonna binge eat. Now him having good looks and good emotions are both gonna contribute to him having attractive traits. And those attractive traits are gonna help him get dating success. Isn't that awesome how smoothly that all comes together? If you want me to break down your systems in a video like this, DM me on my Instagram the word audit. The link is in the top of the description. I hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.